Welcome back to Stanny Boy Reviews. I'm your host, Stanley. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out my channel, where I like to talk about my favorite horror films and perhaps yours. Today, we are entering the terrible kiddo zone. And by kiddo, I mean child, kids, children, those of which I don't have. But I do have quite a few godchildren that I adore, nieces and nephews that I also adore. I'm more of a dog guy. With movies like this, rightfully so. That's right, we are talking about Roxanne Benjamin's There's Something Wrong with the Children. So go grab your board games, go grab your devil sticks, go grab your bug repellent, because this movie takes place on a campground, that's why. Have a seat, I'm already seated, and let's go to the place that shines, y'all. To be transparent, I grew up with movies like Village of the Damned, the original, and the 1995 remake. The remake was actually one of my favorite films growing up. I also really loved the Children of the Corn franchise. Part 4, The Gathering, starring Naomi Watts, being one of my all-time favorites.
I've come for the children.
Bring on the hate mail, ya jerks. What I'm trying to say here is I'm no stranger to the killer kid territory. And I actually really like those kind of movies, especially when they're done right. And judging by the few movies I just spouted out, I'm not hard to please. Am I right? So I was pretty pumped when I saw the trailer for There's Something Wrong with the Children. It looks like a healthy toss-up of Adrian Bogliano's Here Comes the Devil, this little Spanish gem that came out in the mid-2000s, and 2008's Tom Shanklin directed The Children. Both very well-made chillers that center around the same subject matter. Killer tots offing their parents. But that isn't quite the case here, and we'll get to that. This particular film was greenlit back in 2021 as part of a Blumhouse packaged deal, written by TJ Simful and David White, directed by Roxanne Benjamin, who had directed segments of anthology films VHS and VHS 2, and also directed a movie called Body at Brighton Rock, which I've never seen. It was filmed in the late autumn months of 2021 and released just recently on streaming services. But not for free. I paid $6.99 to watch this movie. The film currently holds a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, and on Letterboxd we're looking at a 2.3 out of 5 rating. And you know what? Yeah. Whatever Benjamin was doing here, I don't quite think she made it all the way. Let's just get into it. There's Something Wrong with the Children is about two couples who are camping at an isolated cabin area for the weekend. There is the childless, kind of free-spirited couple, Ben and Margot, played by Mike Flanagan favorite Zach Gilford, who is so cute, and Alicia Wainwright. And then there is Elliot Thomas, played by Amanda Crew from Final Destination 3, and Carlos Santos. And they have their two young children in tow, Lucy and Spencer. They're spending their time drinking, hiking, connecting. They are old friends. It is clear they go way back. The kids even call Ben and Margot Uncle Ben and Aunt Margot. And the movie goes out of their way to establish just how close they are. And I actually really appreciated that. There's a lot of character development within the first hour. Normally, I don't really care for that kind of development in movies like this, but this was fine. I kind of dug it. We also get the idea that at one point or another, Ben suffered some sort of mental breakdown.
How you been feeling?
And while Margot wants kids, Ben doesn't. Also, Ellie and Thomas are dealing with marriage and intimacy issues. So there's a lot going on between the two couples. This leads Margot and Ben to offer to watch the two kids overnight. And when they wake up the next morning, the two kids are gone.
When we woke up, they were gone.
Ben finds them at an old abandoned ruin that they had hiked to the previous morning. Lucy and Spencer are obsessed with this ruined area. They call it the place that shines.
Let's go to the place that shines, y'all.
And something has drawn them back to it. And when Ben finds them, they jump into this hole in the ground, and Ben watches them die. And when he goes back to the camp to tell everybody what he saw, the kids are actually there. But they aren't the same. And that's when things start to get pretty weird. The kids are quite obviously not all right, but Ben's the only one who is noticing it. So is it Ben's mental break that is coming back into play, or is something actually wrong with the children?
We're better than ever.
I will say right off the bat, these kids were not scary. I did not care about them at all. And it's not that they're bad actors, it's just not a very strong script. The kids just weren't much of anything. They were parts on paper, to put it bluntly. I was just really indifferent, which sucks because this movie is supposed to kind of be about them, or at least I thought. But really, they kind of seem to be in the background foliage the entire time. But also, that was sort of okay because I really enjoyed what was going on with the 4 adults more so and cared about them more than I did the kids. But I was watching a horror film, you know, so I wanted to have a horror movie at the same time. I liked the fact that I was watching real people have real conversations, but I also wanted a horror picture about killer kids. And I wasn't getting that. So when Ben's paranoia started to kick in, I started to get my hopes up a little bit that something was going to happen.
This is your fault!
But then nothing really started happening. And really, this was just another example of a trailer that led me astray. Because the trailer's better than the movie when it comes down to it. But don't get me wrong, the performances were good. Everybody in this movie did good at the end of the day. And you know, when it went south, and I kind of commend the fact that it tried something new, because when it tried that new thing, it was something I really hadn't seen before. So the twist that I didn't see coming was really something I didn't see coming. So thumbs up to that. I just don't know if it actually worked the way that the writers and the director wanted it to, but I enjoyed seeing it play out on screen. I don't know, I don't like to spoil things, so you'll just have to watch it to see it. I will also say that Alicia Wainwright was a revelation here. I didn't expect to be rooting for her the way that I was.
What did you do to your mom, Spencer?
She was a pretty good final girl. And I loved seeing Amanda Crew in a horror film again. I can't believe it's been almost 20 years since Final Destination 3. I feel insanely old. And also, can we talk about the score? A group called The Gifted did this score. And talk about intense. What a weird, eerie, spooky, synthesized, and unsettling soundtrack. From beginning to end, it just doesn't let up. So while I'm nitpicking things that I didn't really love, the score really kept me entranced. What a treasure for the ears. So all in all, I don't know. I have been really good lately about going into movies with little to zero expectations, but for some reason I had high expectations for this film. But yeah, I wasn't scared, but I wasn't bored, but I also wasn't supremely entertained either. I just wish I didn't pay $6.99 for this. I think that this was a movie that I could have just watched for free. It could have been on Tubi. I noticed little references to other horror films like The Evil Dead, and that kind of stuff made me smirk. And there was one scene in particular involving Alicia Wainwright and a cop that was shot very well and was a little intense and made me laugh out loud. And kind of got me excited, but it was over so fast and nothing really exciting happened after that. So, meh. I was a little let down. I don't know, I guess I just wanted another schlocky Children of the Corn film, and this movie took itself a little too seriously for me, and the end result just wasn't what I wanted out of a movie like this. So on Stanny's Stab-O-Meter, I'm gonna give this 2 stabs. And weirdly, I feel bad. I feel like with a few script tweaks and maybe with a little better direction, this movie could have been a lot more, and maybe I would have liked it a little bit better. I really liked the friendships that were established between the 4 main characters, but I wanted more of the kids. There's something wrong with the children, and maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe there's something wrong with Stanley. Like, did I miss something? I don't know. It just didn't leave that great of a taste in my mouth. And that's okay, you know? But you guys tell me, did you watch There's Something Wrong with the Children? What did you think? Are you going to spend $6.99 on this? Maybe wait until it's on Tubi, because eventually it will be. I'm sorry, I'm a piece of shit. Either way, let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget, I am on social media. I am on Instagram, I am on Twitter, and I am on TikTok. And you guys, please subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share. I'll be back next week with another review. Thank you so much. Have a great week. I'm wearing a Goonies t-shirt. It's my favorite movie, whatever.